And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this presentation on Chromonomics, turning colour into corporate cash. I'm so excited to introduce Lula Kia. She's one of Image Innovators, my business partner in America, and she developed this program. And we are just finding that image consultants who love color and have loved working with it sort of found that they could go as far as they could working in just with the general public, but now finding a way of advancing and developing it so it is beneficial to your corporate clients has just exploded what you can do. So please sit back as we let Lula Kia, AICICIP, share with us the wonderful work that is Chromonomics.
Thank you, Claire. So I want to start a little bit, telling you this story about chromonomics, like why I started working color in a different level. So one of my favorite services has been always been doing color analysis. And at the beginning of my career, I was doing, if I was lucky, probably 5, 6 per month. So I realized that that wasn't enough to make a profitable business. And in order for me to make it more efficient, right, I had to do seminars and wardrobe consultations and personal shopping. And it was just too much work that requires a lot of effort instead of focusing on the things that I like. So one time I decided to propose to a company to do color in a different level and demonstrate that if salespeople have this tool of color analysis and also understand a little bit better the message that every color sends, and also if we work with different contrasts to create different messages, I will get, more than one person at a time. So this company, the first one who launched with me in this adventure, so they give me 30 people. So 30 sales um, um, people, and it was an IT company. And I want to share with you some of the things that I share with them. And also, this is going to give you an amazing tool to make your business more profitable in less time. So I'm going to share my screen to show you this program that I call the 5 pillars of chromonomics. So it's just talking about color in a different language that companies will understand. So it's like a discipline that studies how color functions as an economical, psychological, and behavioral language in professional environments. So it brings color science, neuroscience, leadership, psychology, and visual strategy to help individuals and organizations communicate with intention, authority, and coherence. So how I base this and how I sell it to company is the most important part, right? You have to speak the language that they speak. So leaders are evaluated before they speak. So it's the science of first impression. So we all know that in milliseconds, you actually have visual, cues or case to take a decision. And color can be one of them. And then teams respond emotionally before they analyze. So this is something that is proved with neuroscience. The limbic system processes visual signals faster than logical. So color, just think about something. When you are buying the case for your cell phone, the main thing that you use to take a decision is the color of the case, right? So it's not about, I mean, the shape. So you go and say, I need a pink case. So same thing with different products. Some people, like, in order for you to take a decision about clothes, for example, you base 90% of the decision on color. So color can take 90% of the power of decision at the end of the sale. So clients decide before they rationalize, right? Purchase decisions are 80% emotional and then logic. And color plays a central role in this process. So why color deserves the attention for everyone? So before we explore color strategy, you have to understand this. Every interaction, every presentation, every decision, every time you're selling something, your influence begins with a visual impression. So it's all a game about visual communication. So in the next minutes, you're going to discover why this is important. Every time you are talking to a company, it's important that you present numbers. They love statistics. So the human brain processes visual information 60 times faster than text. Just think about your cell phone. You know, when you open your cell phone, you have a lot of icons. We don't have text because the brain relaxes and loves pictures, images in order to understand and to take decisions. So color is a big factor for that. So 90% of judgments is based on visuals. And color is the single most influential factor. So we have 7 critical seconds for somebody to decide they can trust you or not. And then 80% of purchasing is emotion driving. It's driven by emotion, is triggered by all the visuals that you have. No emotions means no decision. So color powers recognition and memory. So research demonstrates that colors increases brand recognition up to 80%. You know, think about something. Every time that, you know, we're training a politician or a speaker, if you dress somebody to deliver a tech talk or a conference dressing in black or gray, you hardly remember that person. When they are putting a little bit of color, like think about like a bright blue or a red, people remember color. So the colors you choose create lasting impressions. So color is already influencing how people perceive you, your leadership, and your ideas, whether you are aware or not. So the question that we can have is if color affects leadership, communication, and decision. So the question is, whether are you using it with this purpose? Are you using color as a tool, or you just letting it work against you because you don't know about it? So this is why we put together Chromonomics. So Chromonomics, oh gosh, what happened here? 1 second. So color, so sometimes, so color has 5 amazing pillars. So the first pillar is contrast. The second pillar is prints. I mean, you can make prints with different colors. Then the message of the color, which is neuropsychology of color. Then the color personality system. And number 5 is how colors enhance your image. This is the pillar where most of us as image consultant, we only work with pillar number 5. However, you know, there is another 4 pillars that you can present. And sometimes it's not even companies. Sometimes we just do workshop for 10 or 15 clients that has like a professional work. Like, I mean, the last time we did this, we have a lawyer, we have somebody who was working for a manufacturing company, 3 people who was working for IT. So it's not only companies, you can actually run workshop with this. And why we start doing this is because this can bring, when you are working with group instead of individuals, you can make your business more profitable. So this is just an example, right? If we have, and we are working with the 4 pillars, okay? So, and let's see that you are working with a law firm or you are working with a manufacturing company and they give you only the top 20 salespeople or the 20 managers. So you can charge at least, and I'm just going a little low, $250 per person. So that means that you can make $5,000 in one day. When you give these kind of proposals to a company and you say, if you gave me 20 people, I'm going to charge you 250. But if you give me 120, I'm going to give you a price of 180 per person. I don't know why. Every single time that we do this with companies, they are like, oh, no, no, we can get 120. Even though they're going to pay more, they want the less price. Okay. So most of the time we get something like this, 120 at $180, you get $20,000 in one day. So probably in a week because you probably have to do all the color analysis. And we have a way to do color analysis online, super fast. And guess what? The only reason why we only teach chromonomics to image innovator consultants is because we are the only ones who have a tool like the color swatch that is an app in our website, and you don't have to ship any swatches. You just have to send an email with the user ID and the password, and you're done. So this is why this is working perfect. So the consultants that are right now working with Chromonomics, they are in heaven because like one of the consultants who's just got certified in Chromonomics told me, I just did a company with 50 employees and I don't want to work for the next 3 months. And it's okay, right? Because that's what it is. I mean, when you are working like this, it's more efficient and you get more clients. So let's talk about the pillars. So contrast and visual messaging. Yes, we have a study contrast, but this is a way that you can apply it to different companies. So you have to combine this training with neuroscience. So the human brain is wired to notice contrast first because contrast signals importance, hierarchy, and alertness. It's one of the most immediate visual signs the brain processes before color is even identified. Just let's do an experiment. And when I'm presenting this to companies, I make this interactive workshop where people participate. It's not about me talking. We have like real cases and people get to interact. So contrast asking a subconscious question, is this person dominant, is balanced, or she likes to collaborate? So let's do an experiment. Let's pretend that this is a manager for an IT company. Who feels like the decision maker? The number one, number two, or three? So you can use the chat to answer. Who's the one who's taking the decisions? Or you can connect your microphone, whatever feels better for you. Yep. So number one, and these people, they don't have the knowledge that we have. Every time I ask this question and we do different cases, they answer the same. And then we ask why, right? It's because of the contrast. High contrast is not aggressive. Low contrast is not weak. Medium contrast is not neutral. Each one becomes a problem only when it's used in the wrong moment. And then you go into the deepest stuff, right? High contrast projects power and somebody who knows how to take decisions. So when do I need to use high contrast? What is the message that I sent? Then medium contrast, balance, and credibility. So when I need to manage teams and I need them to look a little, I need to look a little bit more approachable so they can open up and they can ask me questions. So when I'm facilitating a meeting, so it means I'm confident, but I like to collaborate. And then low contrast, when I need to look approachable, coaching, mentoring, conflict resolution. So we can send this graphic according to the industry and make it more relevant. So for example, I was presenting to a pharmaceutical and my audience were doctors. So how do a doctor make contrast? I mean, most of the times, if you think about it, think about a surgeon, right? They usually wear a tie. So they have um, um, the white coat, and then they use a tie. And you can use the contrast on the prints for the tie. So you can adapt the photos, right? And you can adapt the message according to your audience. And then we make study cases. So, for example, right, Maria was, I mean, let's talk about the industry. I was presenting this to a bank, so it's financial services, and the role is a senior director. Maria was intelligent, prepared, and delivered results very good. Yet, during the executive meetings, her ideas were overlooked or only acknowledged after others restate them. The recurring feedback that she got is like, you are very capable, but sometimes you don't sound firm. So I want you to look at the picture of Maria. Is she projecting the right contrast? Yes or no? And why? What would you do different? So during the executive meetings, during these meetings, right, she was surrounded by 5 men. So this is a real case. And every time she goes into this meeting, she didn't look like she was authoritative. Yeah, she looks like the assistant. She needs a higher contrast. Exactly. Maybe a darker jacket, it will do the job, right? Also the hair and the makeup, she's a soft person. So she needed a higher or medium contrast on the clothes. So contrast is how your leadership volume is set. So contrast is is how your leadership volume is set. And today, you're going to learn to adjust it to that purpose. Then, level number 2. Oh, look at what Claire said, and it's true. They say we allow men to wear stronger colors more than we seem to let women. Exactly. Exactly. And some women, they don't know about this. Most of women, they don't know about this. So in the second level for Prince, right, is how parents communicate leadership, personality, and status. So also you can adapt all of these to the audience. So, after we do the color analysis, then we have to say to people, I mean, people who are cool and clear, they can wear bold, geometric chair, plates, and stripes. That's what it fits them. And we can also talk about the psychological message. But it's very important for people because most of the people, especially men, they're like, no, I don't wear prints. And then after you do the color analysis, they realize this is the only print they wear. It's fascinating to see how the system that we have can apply very well to corporate styling. Okay, so for example, the warm and clear, you see them wear ties with golf motifs or chickens, I don't know. And it's because they like playful geometrics, polka dots, vibrant tones with professional elegance. So you teach them how to turn this to the corporate and also what is the message they send when they combine it with the right contrast and the right colors. Then pillar number 3, we call it neurocolor, which is color psychology. But neurocolor is a little different because it's how color tones shape emotion, trust, authority, and decision making. So in order to understand this better, we have to see how the brain processes color. Color is processed first by the limbic system, the brain emotional center, before reaching areas associated with reasoning and logic. This is why people take decisions out of emotions, and color can create an emotion. So we can use color for the stress response. So certain colors activate the calm and nervous system, affecting how people respond under pressure. Color can also affect emotional openness. Color creates psychological safety or being defensive before a conversation. Color can also make somebody to put attention and to focus a little bit more. And color affects the willing to make decisions and take action. So we analyze every single color in all the tones. So for example, if we have blue, it's not only blue, right? Navy blue is authoritative. Mid blue is reliable and balanced. So it's very good for team leadership, client relationships. Light blue is for openness and clarity, transparency, calm. And a bright blue is going to be innovation, thinking, creativity. Now, the amazing part is that every time we deliver our virtual swatch to people, they have exactly the neurological effect that they produce in others, right? But you can make case of a study through neurocolor. So for example, I'm working with insurance company. So the challenge is high client hesitation, long decision cycles. So a regional insurance team rely on heavily on neutral palettes and light blues through the entire sales process. While professional, the visual presence lack of emotional progression. So this is how you can wear blue for insurance company for a sale process. In the early meetings, mid blue and muted for trust building. The mid process, you can use muted orange accent for engagement and warmth. And the closing moment, control red accents for decision activation. So you can apply the different tones of colors to different industries, to different situations. So if you are working in company, for example, with companies, for example, IT, you develop examples for IT for different moments with different tones of the color. And they love these examples. So this activates the emotional impact, the trust, that's the next step, and the decision making. Then pillar number 4 is the color personality. So how color reveals leadership, communication patterns, and decision behavior. So we learned this in one of the classes, but you can make interactive exercises with this. So after I finish the color consultation for each one of them, I know the ones that are cool and muted, the personality is going to be more reflective, diplomatic, they are detail oriented and emotional intelligent. The way that they're going to communicate are going to be more calm, more measured, more empathetic. And then the warmth and clear are going to be more energetic, expressive. So one of the exercises that we do is we put a case together with different situations, and in every team, after we do the color analysis, one of the participants of the team is going to be a cool and clear, another one is going to be a warm and muted, another one is a cool and muted, and another one is a warm and clear, or we have several of them. And it's fascinating to watch how each one of them is going to behave in this way. So at the end, we have these cards. If you haven't get these cards, get them, because these cards, oh, Claire has it over there. So these cards, so we give them to each one of the teams and we said, you have to identify who are the stabilizers from your team, which are the cool and clear. And then we said, you have to identify the ones unmuted, because in order for them to lead, they are very strategic. They love taking decisions, and it's fascinating to see just by these traits how the teams get the answer. And another thing that we use is the test. This amazing test that we have now in the My Private Stylist of Men of Style to find your word personality or your style color personality. So we make them do this test in order to find, right, what are the traits for their personality. And then another thing that you can do is create a profile for client, right? So you know what is the client, and then you say this is, the contrast label, level, you have the color palette, all of that. And then you are gonna have what is this the color personality for them. And then number 5. So this is the one, but look, I have 4 pillars where I'm introducing the topic and making them understand that color is very, very important for leadership and for neuroscience and decision making. And then the last pillar, right, is about what are the best colors for them, the neutrals, everything that we have on the virtual swatch. But, in order for you to make this virtual swatch look spectacular, you also have to help people to understand it and apply it better. So if I'm delivering the app to a super VIP client, or I have 15 salespeople, I'm going to make sure that I deliver some examples and how they can do the mix and match combination. So they are like, oh, I get it now. You see, even if they don't wear a tie because now the work environments are very casual, it's okay, but still give them example, especially for men. They go crazy with this because they're like, oh, I get it now. And then it's amazing, right? How you can bring everything together. So you already teach them about the 4 pillars. So you can say, these prints is sending a message. The colors are sending a message. All together is sending a message. So for example, this one is warm, empathy, and comfort. The green with the navy blue and white, certainty, determination, and order. So we have an amazing game that, it's an interactive activity. I'm just going to show you for the last company. So we have 43 people. I want to show you the picture. Oh, 1 second. I have all the pictures together and now I click. So I show you the men. 1 second. Let me share my screen. So with this tool that we have, you can have men apply every single concept, and if you don't have one, you can get one from Claire. So you can see here men applying everything about chromonomics, the colors, right? The shapes, the forms, everything. So this is a fantastic exercise that you can use with clients and make a very interactive workshop. So here, so I wanted to show one when they are finished. So they make different combinations, you see? And you can make cases and say, pretend that you are gonna see this specific company, they have different clients. And I say, you are gonna be working with a marketing, a client who has a marketing firm and they live in California. Okay, so look, they're putting all the colors together, the texture and all of that. So by doing this workshop, every time we do this workshop, the company has vendor and we got recommended to one of the vendors because of this. So, and think about it, we have everything, like everything that we talk about the different messages with the different colors. This color swatch is giving you the whole thing. So, colors has been always present. What has been missing is the awareness. So, through this framework, we have moved, right, beyond fashion trends, personal preference, to reveal what color is really are a language of leadership, behavior, and influence. So color doesn't replace leadership skills, but amplifies them. It doesn't create authority, but support it. It doesn't perceive, but it aligns with emotional intention. So in a world where attention is limited and first expressions are formed in 7 seconds, visual coherence becomes the leadership competence. So when color is aligned with purpose, it becomes more than image, it becomes leadership. Just, think about this, okay? And what you can do this is a consultant that just started and she's like, I don't want to charge 250. Okay. If you charge 180 for 20 and 120 for 120 people, you're going to make $14,000. So it's a more innovative way to work with color. Okay. So that's pretty much what chromonomic is. So I can take questions.
Lula, do you have like a copy of a presentation that you use to make it easy for the girls to present this to a company?
We actually, in order for us to do this, we have to train you. Okay, so we develop a full training because you need to understand the different industries, and also for each one of the pillars, we have like 10 different interactive activities. So I only present one to give an example, but we have a full program for this. So I'm going to show you the program. So what we do is, I don't know why this is happening. Let me just change. It's funny.
Hmm.
I don't understand. So in order for you to work with chromonomics, there are, three things that you need to cover. Like, what are the 5 pillars when you apply it by industry? And then you need a lot of practice. So we simulate that we work to a company and we have to make 20 consultations with colors in 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we create this training where, so let me show you. So we have like 15 or 20 different clients, and we practice getting the color consultations done in 3 minutes because you don't need more than that. So this is not the deep color analysis that the client plays for it. This is a color analysis where you have to move very, very fast in order to get done 120 in no more than 2 days. So there is a methodology that we use to get it done super fast. So during the second sessions, we are going to apply, and so we are going to simulate an example for a pharmaceutical. We have 20 clients and we're going to make the 20 clients in 1 hour and creating the swatch. And then the most important part, how do I send a proposal? How do I what are the sales strategies that you can apply every time you have a conversation with a company, a nonprofit, or just individual clients? So we give you the contracts, we give you the proposals, and we also give you the presentations for the sales presentation we use for different companies. So how do you present, right, the different packages? Because when you're working with companies, it's important that you give them options. So, so we work with different languages. Every time you're talking to a company, you have to have a different language. So you never say style, you say visual authority and visual communication. Instead of image, is how people is going to take decisions with decisions cues, different decisions, right? So it's just teaching you how to speak the language of the corporate world. Okay. So, in the past, when we just give the presentation away, it doesn't work. So you need to know about the system, the pillars, and all of that. So these three classes, right? So we take these three classes and then we practice and then we teach you how to sell. So usually this program is 1,200. But since we just started and start working with these pillars, and we just have 10 consultants that are certifying to this. And for those 10, 6 are already working on it and they are getting clients. So for now, it's 550 and two payments on 225. So I'm gonna send a link. If you wanna register, we can schedule the classes. We need at least 10 people per group in order for this to happen.
Is that
Because
going to be, they're going to be online?
it's gonna be online, yes.
Hmm. So everyone, I will be able to put that link,
Mm-hmm.
and in the follow-up email after this, I'll send, so those of you who are on now, we will send that to you immediately after. But I know there are a lot of people, because of time zones and everything, were not able to join this. So we will send it with the recording this
Yeah,
afternoon.
it's an amazing way, if you love color analysis, to make a living of it.
Mm,
And also, even if you don't want to work with corporation, I have consultants who decided every time somebody says, I would like to get a color analysis, they just write out their name. And I say, when I get the group of 10, I'll let you know. So every time they have 10 people, they make it a group and they do group consultations. They
mm,
had to do the same classes, right? They do the color analysis for the 10 of them and they finish the whole project in 1 week. Yeah,
fantastic.
the sessions are recorded.
Yeah.
No, the sessions are live sessions, Marta, and then we record it for the people who cannot attend. But I like to interact with people. There is a lot of interactive activities, and I want everybody to participate and learn, because sometimes we do this program online too. So it doesn't have to be in person.
Mm. Yeah, I just wanted to add, when we were putting these together, because I know
Yeah,
we've trained in color personality for years, and then it sort of got to the point where I'd say, oh, take it with a grain of salt. But the more I worked with this, and I thought of the people I know who fit these color groups, I went, they have never changed, and that is the ideal way to communicate with them. So it really brought it alive
yeah,
again for me.
yeah. Those cards have been, and the last company that I worked with this, the HR person bought like 20 sets. So now every time she hires somebody, she will have that person make our test online
Hmm.
about the work style personality. And then she look in those cards to see how she needs to communicate with that person. And she sent that report to the future manager for the new hire. He's
Wow.
fascinated, Claire. I mean, if we will think about this, we probably should send, like, make a package for companies and sell it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, she gave me this idea, and she's now using. I mean, and what am I gonna say when she asked me, "Can I use the link you sent to the whole company?" And I say yes.
Of
I
course.
know. I know. So, I mean, every time somebody fill out the test, I get the email address. And I was very clear to her, but it's just, I don't know. I think it's something that we are the only company that are working with these color personalities. And it's such an amazing advantage, especially when companies and people know about them, that we are not using it enough.
So
We are
just
not
for
promoting it enough.
everyone who's watching, if you have an upgraded membership with us, you will get sent any of the My Private Stylist Men of Style quizzes that your clients are doing for the first time. If they've done it before and they're in the system, you won't get subsequent emails. But if it's first time, you will receive it. It is such a great way for lead generation as well. And also those quizzes now live inside the Your Color ID app as well.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, everything, you have to hear that when the employees try the style match, they were like out of their minds. This is amazing. And especially when you teach them that they can actually say, I want to wear black pants with a red top and the whole thing changes, they love it.
Mm-hmm.
So unless, image consulting is an amazing profession, but you don't want to make it a hobby. It's too expensive.
Mm.
So you want to start making more profitable. And for my first 5 years as an image consultant, I was miserable because I wasn't making enough money. So I had to get a part-time job in order to make it, in order to do my image consulting. So until I started working with groups and companies, my life changed.
Mm.
So this is why I mean, we created Chromonomics, because this is a way for image consultants to learn how to speak the language of colors for companies. And I'm telling you, companies fell in love with this. Mhm.
So does anyone have any questions for Lula or myself? Mm. Okay.
Everything was super clear. Well, it's good that we had the recording.
Yes. Yes. So I will be sending, and everyone on here, you will get the recording as well. So you'll be able to go and watch what we have again, because I'm sure you've got everything's just sort of buzzing around. It's all new. Sometimes you need to sit back and have a cup of tea and digest it and then come back with your questions. So,
Great.
Martha, we will definitely be sending you the link. Um, I just want to have time for the recording to download and to save it. And yes, we will be sharing with you everything that's been shared in this presentation today. Lula, before we finish, did you have any last words you wanted to say to everyone?
That don't think about it too much. Take the decision to start working with groups and companies, because it's going to change your whole business. Sometimes, we are like, I have 1, 2, or 3 clients. When I start working with companies, even nonprofit, because I'm going to teach you how to work with nonprofits too. Um, I was like, this is heaven. I can do one company every 3 months because it's a lot of work, right? And I'm fine. So you only need like 4 or 5 companies per year and you are okay. And every time you work with a company, you always ask, do you have any vendors that you can recommend this program to them, or this, workshop that we just did? And they're like, oh, I don't know why they love helping you and finding new clients. That's a way to say thank you. Every single company have a budget for training. They have to spend them by law, no matter what. So either they keep using the leadership program, they always deliver, or the sales program, or you present to them something that is innovation. This is why we call image innovators, right? Because we are always doing things different. You present something that is very innovative, very interactive, and after you get it done, the next year they will call you again because they're like, we have new employees, can you come and teach the same workshop? So I'm never gonna stop saying it. An image consultant needs to do corporate in order to have a profitable business. So I'm happy to answer questions. If you were shy about asking a question or you are seeing this recording, send the question to me or to Claire, and we can answer any questions.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap things up now. Thank you, Lula. Thank you, everyone who was on. I think what Lula has developed here with Chromonomics is just a wonderful opportunity for all of us to get out there and take colour away from being one-on-one and really spread the message and really make strong businesses out of these tools that we love and we use all the time. So thank you. The recording will be up soon, and if you're watching the recording later, the link will be just
Oh,
under.
let me just share everything that is included.
Mhm.
Share, sorry. So everything that is included in this program. So it's a full book on chromonomics because yes, we are going to learn about the different pillars, but maybe there is a company who asks you for a program that lasts more than 3 days. So here you're gonna find extra activities, extra information. Then the Color Code Leadership book that talks about the different personalities, of course, the cards, and also if you don't have it, like the digital fabrics and the color swatch that you can deliver to clients. So I will send this in a brochure. So Claire has it with
I
everything
already
that
have
is
it.
included.
I can add it in.
Yeah.
All right.
So all the materials are in English. Yes, of course.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lula. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here. And it has just been a pleasure to host this session. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye bye.